What's up, everyone? It's the interview queen Alicia Toot here, and be sure to watch True Heel Heat.
Oye, te habla tío Sabio Vega. This is Sabio Vega, and you watching True Heel Hit a mi manera o pa' la calle.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat. What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands is on me.
We've been through a lot of these reviews over the last couple of weeks since the show started 2 months ago. And the only thing I can really say is Magneto was right. Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment for our X-Men 97 Episode 8 review. Tolerance is Extinction Part 1, the first part of our 3-part finale. And of course, I am joined by my esteemed colleagues of the Charles Xavier School for the Gifted Board of Directors. First, we have Rogue's #1 fan and hater, the person who is currently writing some Kendrick Lamar levels of diss tracks on Rogue. She is Wendy.
Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny? I didn't even know really much about the beef with Kendrick and Drake until Josh, like, literally he gave me the whole breakdown of it. But
you should have just watched True Heel Heat earlier today. We did a whole breakdown of it.
I know he was telling me about it, but yeah, I don't think I could do better than he did. But but anyways, hi guys, hello True Heel Heat chat brothers. I'm excited to talk about this week's episode.
And we are joined by Gambit's #1 fan. He is currently enjoying all of his inheritance from being Gambit's son, and that's why he wasn't here last week. This is Ness.
Ironically, I was out gambling like Gambit would want me to do. Nah, I'm just kidding. But True Hills, what's the deal? Yes, back this week. Man, what an episode, man. I can't wait to dive into this because a lot happened and a lot is about to happen. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited here to talk about it.
Yeah, man, this show, I just, like, after watching this episode, I was like, yeah, this is the show of the year. I was like, something's going to have to change my mind. But this is like the most I've been invested in the show, the most I've like gotten excited waking up every morning that a new episode drops. And the amount of times I've rewatched this episode is up there with the Genosha episode, because I thought this was right up there with the best, one of the best episodes of the entire season. I see we got Power Driver Finisher in the chat with us today. He says this episode wasn't as good as the last few. I disagree with that. It's much better than the Life Death Part 2. But he says it was still pretty good. He says there was definitely a lot going on and stuff kicking off. We also got Frantic World in the chat. Sound off if you're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, wherever you're watching us. Remember to drop the thumbs up on the video. You can also share the video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family, or TV fans or movie fans, however you found us for our X-Men 97 reviews. We appreciate you, but share it with some others so we can get more people watching this and get into this show here. And of course, sound off in the live chat. We'll love to interact with all of you and hear your thoughts on this week's episode of X-Men 97. Tolerance is Extinction, Part 1. Wendy, we'll start with you. What's your overall thoughts on this week's episode, with this being Part 1 of our 3-part finale?
So the episode itself, I mean, if I had to choose a word, I would say epic. I would give it, I would say epic. I really enjoyed this episode. You know, the best part was Rogue not talking, and you know, she was in bed laying, sleeping beauty. That was the best. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I love the history, the backstory of the villain Bastion, and I love the. I mean, we say it every week, you know, the visuals, how the visuals look and the action, and it's like it's almost like movie like we're not even watching the show. It just feels like every episode just feels like a movie, like we're watching a movie and stuff. And that's why I choose. I really enjoyed this episode, and to me, it's an epic, and I can't wait for part 2, part 3. I can't wait.
Ness, what did you think about this week's episode? Your overall thoughts?
Funny enough that Wendy used epic to describe it, because once I got done watching the episode, I tweeted out, "This is epic as shit." This was like so much going on. A lot of action, like a whole lot of action. Definitely a lot of emotion with everything going on. You know, after Genosha, and try to find the rest of the other. Well, still trying to find and fix up what was going on, and Cable being back with the family of, well, you know, his biological father, and I guess you could say biological mother, because she's a clone.
Stepmom. I was like, that's a stepmom. He talking to her like that's a stepmom.
Stepmom. But yeah, man, like I just gotta say epic as well. It was epic. Like it was. I gotta say this was my favorite, and I feel like I say that too much after each like great episode, but I think I can actually double down and say that this episode like might have been my favorite episode throughout the whole series so far.
I would say this is my second favorite, next to Genosha. The Remember It is still number 1, but this is a close number 2. But I like the way that this show was paced, because we got a lot of kind of dialogue and setup in the early portion of the episode here. So we'll start off with the recap here. So we start off the episode with Scott and Jean watching Cable shooting his gun outside the X Mansion. He and Bishop were apparently stranded in the time stream, and he went to the future alone. So Scott makes a remark like, "Oh, I sent my son to the future to have the best future possible, and he was still left alone." You abandoned your son, Scott! Of course he was alone! What is wrong with you? No, Scott says that he wished that he would have asked the professor how to do the thing that he did so well, and that's be a father. And Jean tells him that some lessons have to be learned and not taught. In the war room, Cable briefs the team on Bastion and the Prime Sentinels, which are made by the technovirus that he was infected with as a child. Bastion's evolutionary war lasted 300 years, and it was a utopia for humans, as mutants were made into slaves to basically be the backbone of the world. Old Polaris and Rachel Summers make a cameo here in this little glimpse of the future, Jean realizes that Cable was around when Madeline died, as she still has the memory of Madeline being happy when she died when the bombing happened in Genosha. They then see a news report. We do get a brief moment where Wolverine asks Cable why you didn't stop Genosha from happening, and he explains that every time that he went to Genosha to stop it, like basically a time portal would basically pull him back, and his little like AI explains that it's an absolute point. So that's why time keeps pulling him back. And I love the line by Priest where he says, "Strange. The mystics of Comatage have taught us that there are absolute points that are basically the same in any timeline that you go." So this is actually a lesson that we didn't learn in the Doctor Strange movies, not in Doctor Strange, the first one, or multiverse of Madness. We actually learned this in What If. In What If, the episode about Doctor Strange, basically the mystic one basically teaches him that there's absolute points, because he wants to change the fact that his girl passes away or dies in the car accident, and he keeps trying to go change it, but when he does change it, he basically ends his universe and it tears apart, and the Watcher basically makes him like one of the Watchers to look over the multiverse because he destroyed his own universe. So that is a very key point of information that we learned in this early portion, that Genosha is an absolute point. So we can't use time travel to go back and fix it, or we risk ruining everything. Or they told us all of this because they do plan on changing Genosha, and this whole universe is going to be destroyed as a result. So this whole little tidbit of information got me like thinking of all the possible possibilities, because I thought that it was interesting that it was Wolverine that asked him. It was like, why didn't you stop Genosha? Because now we're going to take this off and look at the wider MCU here. The latest trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. The TVA tell Deadpool that this Wolverine couldn't save his universe. And this Wolverine in the Deadpool trailers is wearing the iconic yellow suit from the X-Men animated series. So is this Wolverine about to save Genosha and ruin his universe and then become a live action Wolverine in the Deadpool movie? What do y'all think? What do y'all think about all this information we learned here, that Genosha is an absolute point, so we can't just time travel to erase it? It really will have kind of big consequences if they try to erase it by time travel now. What do you think, Ness?
That'd be the craziest fucking plot twist. That would be dope, though. I'll be all for it, because, like, just like you said, we talked about this on multiple episodes. We've never had a proper X-Men like comic book version of the X-Men. Well, mainly Logan. Outside of Logan, Wolverine. Other than that, we've gotten the Fox movies that have not done them any justice. So to take it straight from Marvel and then jump into the MCU with this version of Wolverine, I would love that. I would love for that to happen. And then we already know that the combination of Wolverine and Deadpool is already something to be entertained by. So yeah, I would love for that to happen. Let them give you the reins instead of fucking Sony or Fox.
What do you think, Wendy? Do you think that we're going to see maybe a more crossover? Because we've already seen a couple of the MCU. We saw Captain America in the last episode. We saw another Avenger we'll get to in this episode. So what do you think about this tidbit of information with Genosha being an absolute point? Also, it also alludes to the fact that if Genosha is an absolute point that happens in any timeline, we have to get a live action Genosha bombing. We have to. That's like it happens in every timeline. So if there's no connection between the animated series and in the MCU, when they eventually do bring the X-Men MCU, they have to give us a Genosha bombing now.
No, I agree. I think it's very possible. Like, you might as well, you know. Might as well do that. You have all these, these like like you said, like they started doing crossovers. We had Captain America, we had another, I'm not gonna say the person's name, I'm not gonna say the Avengers name, but we'll talk about it a little later. You might as well. I mean, it's very possible,
Yeah. We got a Power Driver finisher. He says, okay, now I know why I didn't like this episode as much. It was the family drama stuff. Everything else was fine. You just hate the Summers. You hate the Summers family, Power Driver finisher. Just get it. Just let it out. It's okay if you hate the Summers family. We got Frantic Rail. He says, I need Cyclops to be a boss and not a fuckboy. Come on, man. He was better in this episode, to be fair.
Yeah, I gotta give him credit.
To be fair.
Yeah.
It was back to episode 1 in Cyclops. We got Party Driver Finisher says trying to save his fiance, I think, is something he can't do without destroying the universe. Yeah. Yep. That was the whole. That was one of the best episodes of that first season of What If with Doctor Strange, because in the real Doctor Strange, he has the accident and it takes away his ability to use his hands, and he's a world famous surgeon. And then in the What If episode, the surgery doesn't hurt his hands; it takes away his heart, which was the one played by Regina George. I'm sorry, I don't know her real name. Regina George is her name in my head. I think it's Rachel McAdams, but she's still Regina. She's still Regina George.
Yeah.
They then see a news report of Xavier being revealed to Xavier being revealed to be alive and about to rule the Shi'ar Empire on a news report. It reports that the X-Men faked his death to get mutant support, and also they reveal that that Guy Ritchie had been murdered in Mexico City. So it basically put it out there that, these are the dudes faked his death, made Guy Ritchie into a villain so he can get arrested, and then killed him. Mutants are screwed. Wolverine is pissed. He's like, I know this is Bastion, and Cable realizes that it's already started and that they're in trouble. And he said he's gonna avenge his mom. And Cyclops says that we need to do reconnaissance. We need to wait. And Cable says a little too late on the fatherly advice. A couple of centuries late. For the overprotective father bit. Overprotective father bit. I love any quips that Cable puts at fucking Cyclops deadbeat ass. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Just like basically just throw it in his face. Like, basically saying like you wasn't a dad. You wasn't my dad. Like, you're a horrible father.
You fucked up. You abandoned me.
Yeah.
Sent me to the future. You wasn't even there to fucking see me through the portal. The fuck? And apparently Bishop is lost in the time stream. I was like, well, fuck Bishop, huh? Bishop got a fresh 90s fade, and now he's lost in the time stream.
I wonder if they're gonna do like maybe in the next episodes, like I wonder if they're gonna do like a little flashback, like a little time flashback, like on what happened with Cable and Bishop during the time stream, like so that at least they could explain like, okay, what went wrong, like what happened, like how did Cable manage to go to the future by himself, like how did he manage to be there alone?
Because in the animated series, the last time Bishop got lost in the time stream, he wound up in the axis of time. And I think that was in Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil. That was a saga of season 4. And Apocalypse had basically gotten all the strongest minds and was trying to like reform time. And Bishop was a part of the crew that basically stopped him. And he was in the time axis with a variant of Kang the Conqueror. So another way we could see some crossover with the MCU, because that was Kang the Conqueror. He was hanging out with in the Beyond Good and Evil, and we've seen multiple for weeks in the opening of the show. We've seen multiple references to Apocalypse, and we haven't really seen Apocalypse since the Beyond Good and Evil series in season 4. So maybe with Bischoff being lost in the time stream, that's how Apocalypse is gonna come into play here. But that is like what's going on. That's the main plot. What's going on with Cable and Bastion. We're also going to learn Bastion's origin story. But our C plot, we got Jubilee and Sunspot. They are with Sunspot's mom, and we get a Colonel Stryker appearance on the news report, and he's a fucking televangelist. He's not even a fucking military person. He's a televangelist trying to tell us that mutants are against God's plan. Rogue is in bed. She is recovering at the same time. Sunspot's mom basically offends Jubilee when she says that she's going to hold a gala to help those people in Genosha because the X-Men aren't doing anything. And she was like, we were just trying to protect the professor from you people. I was like, Jubilee, damn. I was rooting for you. But I understand you Asian, but you can't be telling no Hispanics, you people. I'm just saying.
People of color on people of color crime.
Crossover color crime. Like, what are we doing? But she basically says that she needs some retail therapy. So she takes Sunspot away. Rogue is in bed, and Jean is trying to help her clear her mind. Kurt is looking on. He asks Miss Gray, "Can you help her?" And Jean says, "Call me Jean." And yes, I am trying. And Kurt says, "Oh, Madeline also liked being called by her first name." I mean, most humans like being called by their first name. It's not just because they're clones.
Whoa, what a strange concept.
What a strange concept. You want me to call you by your first name? Oh, shit. Jean says with the psychic connection that her and Madeline have, she wished that she reached out more because it's as if her memories are her own, and that she still remembers and feels her son within her. She remembers it being inside her, the memory of holding him and realizing that mutant or human, she would always love him, but he's Madeline's son. Kurt mentions how he is Mystique's son, but she did not want him because he was too blue. And despite being blood, they are like strangers, but blood is blood and family is a choice. He said him and Rogue could have been strangers, they could have been enemies, but they chose to embrace each other and see family. And that's what Jean needs to do with Cable. We go to Jean, Scott, and Cable. Then they're leaving to coordinate with Beast to give them coordinates where they're going to find where Bastion is. And it's apparently in some part of Pittsburgh. Then we move to Val Cooper, who's alive. Oh, I mean, she made it. She's alive. But I'm very much confused. For the first time in weeks, very much confused on who the fuck. Is this really Val Cooper? Like, I'm confused. I'm very much confused after this episode. Val Cooper is with Mr. Sinister. She makes a reference to Mangle, and apparently Sinister knew him, but he had high ambitions, but he failed. He failed because he's human. Magneto held up on an X. It looked like a weird BDSM fantasy.
Yeah. Only in his black trunks.
In a Speedo, still showing off those damn nipples. I swear, I've seen more Magneto nipples than I've seen in porns lately.
It's like really like y'all had to have him in a Speedo. Like
always showing off that man's nipples in his chest. Prince is like, I've seen way too many Magneto nipples too, right? Right, Prince? Right? Yeah.
Right.
So he's held up on an X cross like he's Jesus. She talks alone with Magneto and says that he hasn't been talking since Genosha, says Bastion. She didn't know about Genosha and she apologized. He refuses to speak back to her, even though she begs him to kind of like yell at her. Later at the X Mansion, Trish visits Beast and brings him some coffee. I knew something was fucking not right when she showed up at the X Mansion. I was like, why do I have a feeling this is not going to go right? after their last conversation where she gave him he made his balls as blue as his dick.
No, that is a good observation because I thought, I didn't think it was anything crazy was gonna happen, but I was just like, you were just disappointed in her making, these backhanded comments about mutants, but then, she's popping up like everything's all good. But even though his name is Beast, he's very intelligent and very empathetic individual. So I can see him giving her the chance to like trying to fix the situation. But yeah, I didn't expect anything outside of that.
We got in the chat here, Frantic World, who says, I can see incursions happening in X-Men 97. I can definitely see that. I say if it's going to cross over into Cyclops and into Deadpool and Wolverine, that we got to have a TVA appearance on the last episode. If that's going to be the crossover. We got Power Driver Finisher who says, when he said, let's show them not to mess with the Summers, I said, boo. Greg Carter II said, Cyclops continues the cycle of Summers being deadbeats. Absolutely.
Damn.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was like, damn, Jubilee, you people? Come on, girl. You should know better than that.
Should never say that to anybody of color. Do not say.
Yeah. What do you mean, you people?
Like, excuse you.
We got the Wrestling Lowdown Show who says the X is a reference to Wolverine comic cover. Yeah, I did see that one before in my past. We got Power Driver Finisher who says, if you got it, you flaunt it, and says, I guess he's got that beast mentality. He's like, I got another chance to hit that ass. Yes, you can come in. You can come in and give me coffee. Give me that ass next. He is working on Prime Sentinel. They apprehended the Prime Sentinel of Trask. Meanwhile, the Summers go to what was supposed to be a Sentinel facility, but then realize that it's actually just Bastion's childhood home. An old lady is found. Jean touches a childhood drawing, and her psycho memory powers kick in, and she sees the kid. She sees the father was infected. It's infected from the One Man's Worth episode in the animated series, where Bishop and a alternate timeline, Storm and Wolverine, who were married, killed Nimrod, and then the Sentinel tech, the little like goo of the Sentinel tech, went into the janitor at the school that Xavier went to, because the whole One Man's Worth was about that future timeline, Storm and Wolverine teaming up with Bishop to save a younger Charles Xavier so he could start the X-Men. But Nimrod and Master Mold wanted to kill him so there would be no X-Men and they could take over faster. So to give you a kind of a rundown of that episode. But yeah, the old lady is there. She gets all the memories, sees the father getting infected with Sentinel technology. It's parts past, present, and future, from the future to become Nimrod. And the kid is named Sebastian and becomes a mutated Sentinel. He's in class, we see him, and he's hearing things. He's not hearing voices like, Charles or Eugene. He's hearing machines, and he's hearing Master Mold tell him that he's going to be the most powerful mutant. Then as that's going on, we'll stick with this part of the story for now. Cable says they're going to play along with the old woman. The old woman seems nice. He said, oh, my son said you would come tomorrow, but you're early. I knew something was up.
Definitely.
That was creepy as hell. Like, they go into the house, they hear not like there's no life. Then you see her just sitting in the couch, like, oh, like my son said you guys were coming tomorrow. That's creepy. Creepy as hell.
I'd be so scared. She came out the darkness.
I would have optic blast that bitch right there and there. I wouldn't have waited for nothing. Fuck that. Hell no. First of all, the town looked creepy as shit to begin with. There's nobody outside, no lights, it's just dark as hell. You go into Bastion's fucking childhood home and you see some old lady just sitting there. I don't know how they didn't know that that was going to be an ambush or just whatever the case may be. Yeah, I would have ended it early or tried to at least.
It's like those movies, like those horror movies. Like you go into a creepy ass house and then it's like you see like a ghost just sitting there. It's like what? Like no.
Funny enough that you
Like
say that. You know what I got that from? Have you seen the? I forgot what year it came out, but the more recent versions of it, like
No,
when they went to that.
I think I've seen the first one. The first
So
one.
I don't remember if it happened in the first movie or the second part, but there is a part where they go into this lady's house, or one of them, the one chick, she goes into the lady's house, and she's like old, and it's like flies all in her house, and it was her childhood home. So whenever you got to go to somebody's childhood home and there's an old lady there, clearly you shouldn't be there because that's a problem, and it just repeats itself.
nope.
Oh man, but yeah, I was scared of this old lady from the minute they stepped in this joint, and then it just got worse as basically we see all the drawings of Bastion in his room on the wall. And if you already do like if you watch the Easter egg videos, there's a bunch of drawings that like show the future of mutants. Like he has a drawing of like Nightcrawler on there, and then the old lady gives him the drawing, his last drawing, his magnum opus, his greatest drawing yet, and is basically showing the future of what he wants out of all of this, which is a big like sentinel army and almost dead mutants that they are about to destroy. In the drawing we see Wolverine, we see a Nightcrawler, we see Cyclops in the drawing, and then the lady says, it's one of his best pieces because oh my god, I was like, no, what the fuck? I was like, this bitch being gooed. Oh, what are we doing? This motherfucker gooed his own mother. He gooed his own mother. He injected his mother. He penetrated his mother with Sentinel tech.
I thought that lady was dead. I thought she was already dead, and he like injected her with stuff.
This guy is sick. He's a sicko.
Like,
we see a nice little moment when he was a kid, and he's like, "Mommy, why am I not normal?" And she was like, "You're normal, baby." And he's like, give him a hug, and then he turns into the grown-up version of Bastion, that son of a bitch. And yeah, she turns into a prime sentinel, and she says, because it imitates life, and then her fist glows up. But we'll get back to what's going down with the Summers at the Bastion home. Back with Bastion, he's now with his assistant from the comics, Daria, which is I forgot her powers, but I'm sure someone in the chat, I know you guys are a little bit more proficient on the comic books. Y'all can tell me Daria's power. He's having basically a Zoom meeting with all the world villains, and he is speaking to. We get Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is here. And he's like, I don't agree with terrorist acts, but you're working with him, aren't you?
Yeah.
Then we get an appearance from Baron Zemo, comic book accurate Baron Zemo, not the one who's dancing from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and some mystery woman who says that she wants Cooper to stay on to help facilitate things. And Bastion says, "Oh, I'll even throw in a tour." And then he tells Val Cooper all about Operation Zero Tolerance and how they have been basically abducting humans who have been showing humans that have shown any type of like anger or on social platforms talking about mutants, go to online chat rooms. He shows her how the Prime Sentinels are made. She thought that he was building a new Sentinel, not weaponizing humans, but he says that, it's taking all the jobs. He basically cuts the promo from South Park. They took her down. He's like, I was a cab driver supposed to make any money when a teleporter can get him there in about the time. Took my time.
Oh, God.
So they start going humans. They fucking put the humans is asleep. They just dab them in the fucking goo. Like, they can't breathe in that shit, but thankfully they're asleep. Pull them out, and they just go. And, and Bastion says, yeah, they could be out one day, and then a mutant flirts with them, and then I want everyone to become a Prime Sentinel for Halloween. But I'm pretty sure some people on the True Hill Heat team are Prime Sentinels. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that some people in my family are probably Prime Sentinels. You have to question everything, people. That anyone can be a Prime Sentinel.
Oh my god.
Yeah, at this point, it could everybody. It could be anybody outside of just being outside of the mutants. It's fucking everybody at this point. From what it looks like.
Damn, let me ask Josh if he's a Prime Sentinel.
You should. You should. I went on Twitter. And I put my life on the line, and I said, "All right, for real though, which one of y'all are Prime Sentinels? I just want to know." And then someone questioned me and said, "Oh, you could be a Prime Sentinel." I was like, "No, I'm an X-Men." Like, I'm a mutant. What are you talking about? Come on. Yes, I agree, Power Driver Finisher. I didn't want to name any names. I did not want to name any names. There is a reason why Romeo won't let us talk about X-Men 97 in our group chat. There is a reason. That motherfucker is a Prime Sentinel. He has been gooed.
Goodness.
It all makes sense now.
Power Driver Finisher, you're very in tune. You're very in tune. I'm pretty sure you're a Prime Sentinel too, because you knew that. No, I'm talking about Power Driver Finisher.
No, I'm reading the last comment. Me? How am I? Listen, first of all, let's all right. Here's my thing. I never had an issue with Rogue. Okay. I liked Rogue. However, I just didn't like the way she treated Gambit. Okay. So I don't want nothing that I don't want Gambit to be hurt. So that's why now you always see a Rogue rant in every review. So it doesn't make me a Sentinel. I'm sorry.
Hey, are we gonna get a Rogue rant in this, even though she wasn't awake for this episode?
No. The only thing I can say is good thing she's not awake. Keep sleeping.
To be fair, I'm still not convinced that she's not a Prime Sentinel, because she touched Guy Ritchie and got those visions of Nimrod and Bastion. And then turned around, she just pop up in the middle of the street right next to where they was going. And then the next thing she does, she kills Trask. I'm just saying.
It is possible.
It's a theory. Frantic Girl says, what about Jimmy SP3? No, Jimmy's definitely a mutant. He's definitely a mutant. He's a mutant.
I was going to say something about that. The only reason why I wouldn't put him as a Sentinel is because he hates Tony Khan for the most part. And Tony Khan's definitely not one of the X-Men.
No.
He would be more so. He would be more so of a Sentinel.
Tony thought he was going to the hospital after he took the TK driver. He was going to get gooed.
Yeah. Wrote him off for a little bit.
The Elite are definitely Prime Sentinels. I just want to let everybody know. No. Kenny Omega is not. That's why he got kicked out. Kenny Omega is a mutant. Only mutants can wrestle that good. We got also in the chat Dion Jenkins. He says, can mutants be turned though? It's interesting because of Rogue touching Guy Ritchie. It looked like she got infected with the techno virus, and I mean the techno virus made someone a mutant. So I think that mutants can be turned. I'm not sure though. Who knows? We got Tyrone Kid who says my prime suspect is Seahawk. We're gonna get Seahawk on our review, and we're gonna interrogate him and find out if he is a Prime Sentinel. I'm pretty sure he's not, He's just too nice. Nah, yeah, he's Prime Sentinel. Too nice. Too nice.
Yeah, because we see what that does. Being nice
You're right.
to people.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
That's just the cover up.
Yep. Frantic World says Wendy got that like Kendrick Lamar energy for real.
Oh my god.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you
Hey, you
talk.
Wendy be on one song and be like, I got no hate and bone in my body, and then be like, I hate the way that you talk, the way that you walk, the way you treat Gambit.
Yeah.
What? Besides, like other than Ness, the number one supporter of Gambit, I'm also part of that. Part of that group. I love Gambit. I just don't want him to get hurt. But he obviously got hurt, and he freaking lost his life because of his strong ass love for somebody that didn't even want him in the first place. So, yeah.
Damn. Another love that is going a little bit better is Jubilee and Sunspot. They are out shopping. She wears something like a black bodysuit, like she wore in the comic books, and his butler is turned into a Prime Sentinel. He's like, what are you doing back here? And he's like, mutants must be terminated. They start running. They start running. She puts on her jacket, so she legit looks like the comic books now. And then other Prime Sentinels in the mall start being activated.
Jubilee fucking mall.
Jubilee lets out a quip. Jubilee lets out a quip how she hates malls now. Like, you done turned Jubilee off of malls. They start going after him. One of them basically tackle and spear Sunspot. Sunspot has to use his powers to shoot one away. At some point, she goes all the way up to the top, to the roof, and then decides she wants to try to see if she can fly. Like, that is not the time. This is not the time to be trying to come up with different powers.
Nah, yeah, you should have tried. You should have worked. Yeah, you should have tried that shit in the danger room like forever, working on new moves and stuff. Now you want to try to fly? Damn near killed yourself.
Jesus, it's like, dude, what are we doing? I don't think that's a good decision. I don't think this was wise, but thankfully Sunspot flies in to save her. He's been practicing in the danger room. I see one of y'all do y'all homework. They crash into his mother's Humans for Genosha event. The Sentinels, they dead ass. Why they dead ass act like a kid who is being a menace, and then their parents show up and they be like, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
that's basically what's going on.
The Sentinels say, we don't kill mutants, we help them. The fuck?
Whole time you're shooting fucking rocket blast at him, trying to kill him or at least incapacitate him. Like, yeah, so we don't kill mutants. All right.
But this bitch, Mrs. DaCosta, just tells them to go with the Sentinels who put fucking mutant power inhibitor collars on them. I was like, she's the worst mom. She's the worst mom.
She fucked up. That's
worst fucking mom ever.
Can I just say, this is funny. On the chat, Romeo literally said he put a GIF of Steve Carell from The Office, and he has glasses on, and he's like, me clicking on remove for you, trying to avoid seeing the title of the video, which was our video right now.
I literally don't spoil anything. Magneto was right, and Summer's family does not spoil anything. Like, legitimately, he is hard. Like, Romeo, you're obviously a Prime Sentinel. You need to stop lying to the people out there. If y'all are mutants and y'all are watching, he's gonna come through the screen and he gonna kill y'all. Just letting y'all know. I'm looking out for the people. I'm sick of Romeo playing games with y'all and acting like he's not a Prime Sentinel. He is a Prime Sentinel. We've discovered it here. So keep watching. We got Frantic World who says Sunspot has a bad mom. That's saying it nicely. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's like It's like you would think she's like this. It's like she's like one of those people where it's like she's very like, oh yay, like I support, like I support you, son, and I'm gonna do this charity for them. But like I feel like underneath she doesn't really like
No.
support. Like it's like she's putting on a facade, basically. And that's what I got from that part.
It's sad, but very true. And he said like he was like putting up a facade to act like he wasn't a human before, but it was really his mom that was really kind of influencing him, and that's how his mom really feels, and that was just projecting onto him, it seems.
Right.
But yes, we got Tyrone Kid who says LVP alert for Mrs. DaCosta. He also says, we don't rogue to say Gambit no more. We don't. Dion Jenkins saying Avengers have to come in. This is a world changing stuff. All of them people that got turned on are pretty much dead. Yes. There's a lot of people dead after this episode, and we haven't even gotten into that. At the X Mansion, Beast has basically this big globe that is going to reveal where all the Prime Sentinels are at. So basically, we get the big dramatic music as all the fucking Prime Sentinels start popping up. Dudes is at a fucking cookout, turn into Prime Sentinels. Some lady is doing delivering mail. She turns into a Prime Sentinel. Homies protesting outside of the X Mansion. Obviously, they're gonna be Prime Sentinels. They get turned on, start blasting off. Trish becomes one and stops Beast from letting the team know where all the Prime Sentinels are popping up. She then blasts Beast. She starts talking shit to Beast. Oh, you used to be Mother Nature's favorite, and then you got turned on. She just fucking blasts this dude into the top floor, into the living room area, where Wolverine says one of the best lines of the episode. I gotta tell Hank about his taste in woman. And he comes up, he's about to fight him, he gets blasted away. We get Nightcrawler who comes up and baffs Beast away so he could be safe because he's knocked the fuck out from her. Then we get Morph. He morphs into fucking Juggernaut.
That was dope.
Out of nowhere, yo. He just grew. I was like, where the fuck did this nigga come from? Like, how does he do this? He just turns into Juggernaut, but she just bodies him, throws him right into Beast. They go into, I guess, like Xavier's library, where two swords, I thought it was two swords, we see two swords, drop from Xavier's collection. More on that in a bit. A bunch of the Sentinels that were protesting outside of the Xavier mansion, they come into the mansion, they start burning it down with Trish, but Logan, of course, he's like, Morph is out, Nightcrawler's out, motherfuckers, I can't take me. He's like, let's go. Trish jumps up and turns on her boosters, blasting him out of the X Mansion. He starts blasting into the sky. He's freaking stabbing Trish in the back. This bitch is not doing anything, just pushing him back up. She's about to blast him in the face with her fist, and he says, oh no, bitch. And he starts falling. As he's falling, he starts cutting up these things. Yes. Finally, I was like, me and Wendy was talking about this last week.
Yes.
I was like, everyone has gotten their moment except for Wolverine. But this was it. I was like, let's go. Starts cutting up these dudes. Then Trish comes and tackles him back into the X Mansion. Man, I was just like, oh, this whole fighting scene, everything was going on at this point. Because you had, at this point, Jubilee and Sunspot being chased by the Sentinels from the mall. We got the Summers fighting the Sentinels in Bastion's hometown. And we got all the rest of the crew fighting the Sentinels at the X Mansion. With the Summers, they are attacked by the neighborhood of Sentinels and flee into the Blackboard. They just start like, oh shit. He turned his hometown into Prime Sentinels because Cyclops X's Cable. Oh, you got one of those nifty grenades? He's like, I think we're gonna need more than one. Cause they popped up. This dead ass looked like the neighborhood that Jean lived in Dark Phoenix, that last one. Like it looked like that neighborhood. But yo, that shit was scary when all of them fucking Prime Sentinels popped up. What was your reaction?
That shit was fucking ridiculous. And then I get them trying to run away, but you see all these Prime Sentinels flying towards you. You get into the Blackbird to try to flee. They're just going to chase you. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, it really was a lose-lose. You stay and fight. You're probably going to be overwhelmed. You run away, they're going to chase you. So you're not really even getting away. But, you know, I don't want to say it now, but as we were watching them flee, it got even a little bit more extreme and entertaining. Yeah.
So they get into the Blackbird. They're going all fine. We get a nice little moment where Jean acts like stepmom Jean to Cable and says seatbelt and puts it on with her mind. They're attacked in the air, and three of the Sentinels go onto the Blackbird and basically kill themselves by taking out their engine. And Scott is like, fuck, not this shit again. He fucking takes off his seatbelt. He's like going to the back. Jean's like telling Nate. She's like, Nathan, head to the back. He's like, stop bossing me around, stepmom. And she's talking shit to Scott, saying like, this is the third Blackbird in the last couple of months. We had the Blackbird in the first episode. They had a Blackbird that went out in the last episode of the 5th season, and then this is the third Blackbird that they've destroyed. They managed to escape as he has his porch in the back of the fucking Blackbird, and he drives the porch as one of the Sentinels pull down the Blackbird and crash it, destroying it. First Cable is shooting at the Sentinels, and then he says like, if you can't go back, you gotta move forward, as they go into like this tunnel by the caves as they're trying to close them in, and Jean is using her powers to kind of keep them away or keep a barrier away, and then she looks at Scott, and Scott's like, we're gonna teach these friars not to mess with the Summers. I was like, yes. I was like, dad joke, Cyclops, let's go. When he grabs hands with Cable and Cable pulls him up, I'm like, yes, fucking go. He's like, he uses the blast to freaking create a pathway for the Porsche to drive through so they can get out. Meanwhile, Cable is still shooting at the fucking Sentinels that are chasing them, and they basically get out of that tunnel. They go, Jean puts them in one of her inhibitor balls, and they do like a fucking Holy Trinity style superhero landing where the whole car explodes in back of them. They pop out in the Jean ball. Jean's in the top like the Holy Spirit. We get Cable is the son and Cyclops is the father. I was like, yo, that might be one of the greatest superhero landings of all time. What did y'all think about the whole Summers versus the Prime Sentinels fighting sequence, Wendy?
Oh man, I really enjoyed it, and I know like what Scott was saying, like, oh, like let's show them not to mess with Summers. Like it was giving me very I don't know. I don't want to say, but in my opinion, it was giving me very like 80s vibes. Like, you know, like I don't know how to explain it, like the 80s movies or something, like those 80s action movies or something. Like, I don't know. It was giving me that type of vibe.
It was like a Top Gun moment with the freaking cheesy ass line into the great fighting into the great sequence.
Yeah, so it was giving me very that vibe, but I love how like they, you know, father and son teamed up, and you know, it was great. And the action, I'm like, damn, like the visuals and the landing. I agree that was a badass landing.
I was like, I was on my fucking couch. You would have thought I was watching a sports game or wrestling, because I was fucking popping. I was like, let's fucking go. Let's go, Summers. I was like, I am a fan of this Summers family.
Yeah, it was it's like any other families that like superhero families, like the Incredibles or something like that, or what's what's a superhero family? Oh, I don't know. I'll just use the Incredibles. It's like very like Incredibles, stuff. And when you said like you had Jean as like the Trinity, the Son and Father, I'm like, wow, like that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like that.
it was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Like that. That's
Yeah.
when I was like, I got it. I peep game what y'all did just there.
Yeah. And see, this is why I like these writers, these directors, like whoever produces each episode, like, yeah, definitely need a bonus.
Absolutely. Ness, what did you think about the Summers versus the Prime Sentinels?
I thought it was dope. At the time, everybody played their roles. You got Cable shooting off or trying to keep the Prime Sentinels away from them. Jean driving the car from the passenger side with her mind, which is dope. And then you got Scott, Cyclops, blasting their way out of the cave. So like everybody added their own element to it, and it worked out for them in the end. And it was nice to see father and son teaming up. And although Jean is stepmom, I know she felt good because Scott was there having a moment with his son, and then with her as well. Even though it's a dire and serious situation, they're all coming together to make sure that they make it out alive. So
Yeah.
it was definitely nice to see them work together. And like Dave's just like, yeah, this is what I wanted, not my son to be a mutant from the future to come back and help me, but just to be with my family. So he got what he wanted, even though it was like the extreme version of what he wanted, the very extreme version.
Very extreme. So that, like I said, I thought that whole sequence with the Summers versus the Prime Sentinels was excellent, but Wolverine and Nightcrawler versus the Prime Sentinels was even better for me because the whole scene I think is one of the best shot of the whole entire series. From the shot of Rogue asleep with the Prime Sentinels pulling up on her fucking unconscious body, I was like, yo, what they about to fucking do? They about to fucking steal Rogue? I was like, what's going on? But they're fucking sneaking up, walking real slow on her, and then all we see is we hear the snake, and then he rips through one, and she's like, you can't stop us, and he's like, I got 6 reasons why I can stop you, and then all we hear is. And we hear that then we get Nightcrawler, who's got the 2 swords we saw, and a 3rd sword with his tail, and he's like, got 9, 6 and 9, 69 time. Let's fucking go.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, yeah, I'm telling you, when they start going at it, we just see Wolverine. We get Nightcrawler with the swords, and then he starts stabbing them and bouncing them at the same fucking time. Yo, dude was on his shit in this scene. I was like, you earned your spot in the opening, sir. You've been in the opening now since Genosha. You've been in the opening, but this was the first time I felt like you really earned your spot in the opening. This dude is just like carving them dudes up. They're trying to put themselves back together. He's the one that realizes that, hey, we got to take them away from Rogue. We got to get them away from Rogue. They're going to destroy this room. We got to get them out of here. So that's when he starts stabbing them and bamfing them away. Meanwhile, Wolverine is still fighting them. He's fighting all the ones left. And then he's as Nightcrawler is baffing them away. There's one left, and he stabs them with his claws. And Nightcrawler bamfs him at the same time, so we get the visual of the Bamf universe to whatever dimension Nightcrawler goes through. We see it from Wolverine's perspective, and then we see Wolverine's body stretching and expanding in the dimension. Yo, that shit was the best shot thing I think I've seen in this whole entire series. Ness, what did you think about the Nightcrawler Wolverine fight sequence?
Man, I pop. I'm not even gonna lie, I pop. Like, because both of these guys are two of my favorite X-Men, two of my favorite Marvel characters in general. So having them have their moment, like you said, Nightcrawler finally having a moment where he like, all right, now you're officially a part of the team, because like he's been here for a couple weeks, couple episodes, but like they haven't fully pushed him to the forefront as the a new member on the team, and now he's there with Logan, who's obviously, if you think of X-Men, he's like, either if he's not number one, he's definitely number two that comes to mind. So like they're in there saving Rogue. That shit was just dope. And then like the like you said, with like the last Sentinel that they get rid of, watching that whole visual of, you know, them stabbing them and then teleporting them. I'm like, yo, this is fucking dope as shit. Like, just watching this whole thing was just super dope. Like I'm going to leave it at that, because I'm going to get ahead of myself to talking about MVP.
Oh man, I was so hyped. I was on my couch like, yeah. These are two of my favorites as well, and I know their whole connection from the animated series, because like I said, I rewatched it right before the series started, so I remember the first episode, Nightcrawler, when Nightcrawler was brought in, and it's all about his forming his connection with Wolverine. He's the one that helps Wolverine rediscover his faith and kind of find a purpose to fight for the X-Men for. And I love the fact that they brought that full circle here with the first time that Nightcrawler fights with the X-Men team. It's with Wolverine. Wendy, what did you think about this whole sequence?
Oh man. Like I was watching I don't want to felt like I was watching Dynasty. Yeah. I feel like I was watching Dynasty. Like freaking you have you have freaking Nightcrawler as Osprey, and then you got Wolverine as I don't want to say Daniel.
I mean, he's short like Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was giving, like, you know, you have Osprey as Nightcrawler, you got freaking Danielson as Logan. Like that shit was fire. And like I love the action sequence and it was the visuals and the fact that they like that part when Nightcrawler has the last Sentinel, and like you said, like you're seeing, it's like you're seeing it through Logan's eyes, and it's almost like you yourself is Wolverine, right? Like it gave you that feel, and it was awesome. Like, oh man, it was awesome. Definitely a definite highlight of the episode. I enjoyed the shit out of that.
That whole fighting scene was one of my highlights of the whole entire season. Like I enjoyed that. I've watched the episode now 3 times, and I get excited every single time. Every single time I hear that snick, and then 6 reasons why, tin lady. I love that Logan got all the lines in this one. Man, I'm so happy. Like Logan's always been my favorite, even before he stole the spotlight of all this X-Men in the Fox series. Logan Wolverine was always my favorite. So I was all smiles ear to ear after last week, where I was like, man, Wolverine don't got no of the spotlight. He ain't getting no shine. And then he got his shine, even sharing it shine. I don't care. I have to see Wolverine do his fucking thing. Fucking tearing apart Sentinels in the air, in the mansion. This dude was on his shit.
Yeah, and I was gonna say also, like, and you did bring it up before, how like last episode we were talking about how they kind of made lately in the episode they've been making him like a background character and like no story or anything like that, right? So like with this episode, they brought him to the forefront in regards to like with the action scenes and stuff like that, and it's good. Like, you know, everybody wants to, like, you know, a lot of people who are fans of Wolverine, they want to see more of him. They want to see, you know, him fight and stuff like that. And, you know, we haven't got it. You know, we got it in some episodes, but like not fully, completely. And for this episode, I love the fact that they brought him to the forefront more. And even though he shared it with Nightcrawler, it was good. Yeah, it was really good. It was really, really good.
Because he even gets his nice little moment on his own when he's fighting the Sentinels when they fucking blast him into the air. I'm sorry, that's one of my favorite scenes of this episode. It's him in the air just being like, I'm falling, I'm taking y'all with me. He tore one at the waist, yo. He cut them at the waist, so they're in the air and they're splitting apart, yo. The animation was so dope on that. So a Sentinel. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, even though like I did compare, like, size wise, I compare him with Danielson. I would say like his fighting, he gives me Moxley, like straight John Moxley.
Yeah.
Moxley could definitely pull off a Wolverine type character for sure.
Yes,
for sure. We get a Sentinel that looks suspiciously like Gambit. I don't know if y'all peeped that as well. There was a Sentinel outside of the X Mansion that when Bastion's car pulls up, there's a Sentinel with a white shirt who has red hair and wearing suspenders. I literally, if you watch the episode, you'll probably not pay attention to it. But I've watched this episode so many times that I started asking myself, "Is that Sentinel Remy?" But yes, that Sentinel opens the car door for Bastion, and he gets a call from Sinister, who lets him know that his human putsy let Magneto go. She's out of her mind.
He was mad.
So over the top, I love him.
He was mad.
He is over the top cartoon character, and that he makes me mark out even more because he's working with Bastion. Who's Bastion? We talked about it last week. Bastion is straight out of a 2010s villain movie. Like he is so evolved movie, but Sinister is so fucking 70s, 80s comic book character that is just the juxtaposition is hilarious to me.
Yeah, I was me and Sid spoke about it last week. I was saying how like Bastion was giving me very like Ultron with the voice and like very Ultron-esque, like nothing worried him, you know, and it clearly shows in this episode. Like you see Sinister going crazy, like, yo, like this is what this girl did, blah blah whatever, and he's like, I already knew. Like, he was not surprised.
He said, I'm not surprised, but she's too late.
Yeah, like he had no worries
in the world. Yeah, at this point doesn't even matter. But
like nothing fazed him, and that's why like last week I was saying like he was giving me very Ultron, like with the voice and like the way he was speaking and how like nothing bothered him, you know.
Makes sense.
He was one step ahead. He's a chess player, and he's always one step ahead. So he opens up a portal with Daria, and they go back to the facility. Val is there with Sinister. She's on her knees, I was like, sir, get away from the woman. Val says that he's a monster, and he basically said, "Oh, you had to let the dog out," and she was like, says some shit to him. He's a monster, and he was like, "I was born this way," and then basically puts her up with all his machinery and puts her up on a cross, and then she just starts spitting like an OD monologue. She was just like, "You know what really hurt me about Genosha is that no one seemed shocked or surprised. Like me, many people were hit with this inevitable fact of deja vu, that we have been down this road before." And like when she did all this, I was like, man, y'all literally spent like 25 minutes making me believe Val Cooper was actually Val Cooper. And then she did this speech, and I was like, yeah, that definitely sounds like Mystique though. But she's got a bad arm and shit. Like, how long are you gonna keep? And how doesn't Bastion know if she is Mystique? That's what makes me think that she's not Mystique. Is because Bastion is a machine. He would know if she was a mutant.
I think,
or does he know and he just doesn't care?
I think it's just like you said that she's too late. So I feel like he knew or knows, but whatever plans he had in motion or whatever he needed to get done, it's already happened or it's already in motion. So like you said, she's too late, so she can't even do anything, or so he thinks.
But then we as she's doing this whole speech, we see Magneto being freed, how she pressed the button and he was all freed. We also see all the Prime Sentinels attacking the Summers family. We see the other Prime Sentinels at the Humans for Genosha Gala arresting Jubilee and Sunspot, and the mom, that piece of shit, just closing the door on our fucking son. Like, she don't even know if she'll fucking see her son again. And then freaking Cooper, at the end of her big speech, she says, I was just hit with that inevitable feeling, that feeling, that feeling of, and she hit the line, she said the line, Magneto was right. As we're hearing her do the whole monologue, we see Magneto. He goes across the globe to basically re-up his powers. He goes to the North Pole, and then he just basically says, enough. And dude turned off all the electricity in the world. Like the recap I'm reading says that, oh, Magneto went across the globe to deactivate the Sentinels. No, he didn't just do that. That's all he did. That would be fine. I would not be as freaking. I was just like, I watched that episode the first time. I was like, wait, he did what? Because I think he just turned off all the electricity in the world. Like, if he had just like deactivated the Sentinel, I think he could have just done that. But nah, he went super ham. He turns off all the electricity in the world, and we see that not by them immediately, him doing the electricity thing and deactivating the Sentinels. No, they didn't just show us that. They first show us fucking Spider-Man in New York City. He's fucking swinging around New York City, and then all the electricity in New York. Man, we have been down this road. I remember the 2000s when there actually was an entire blackout. That was Magneto. It was Magneto all along. Magneto. Spider-Man was jailing. Spider-Man pops up. We get the Silver Samurai, which for people who are more familiar with the movies than the comic books or animated series, Silver Samurai was the villain in the Wolverine movie from 2013. Then we get Omega Red. He's also.
I pop for that. I pop
for that too. I pop for that too. I was like, oh, Omega Red is back. Let's go. We see all those guys. Then we see Wolverine with Morph and Nightcrawler. They pull up the Rogue's bed on the outside of the building while all the dead Sentinels are around them. And Wolverine mentions that Magneto did it. And Morph says, what, save our hide? And he's like, no, he declared war. And it's like, oh, I guess we're in trouble. And Wolverine says, man, where's Professor X when you need him? And at that moment, Professor X is there when you need him. We see the spaceship go into the X mansion. We see Wolverine and Morph break in to see who it is. Wolverine's got his claws out, but as soon as he hears Charles's voice, the claws go in, and he says, I hope I'm not too late. To me and my X-Men. We see Beast, we see Scott and Jean. We also see Storm in her new outfit. So the team is coming back together, and that is how we ended this episode of X-Men 97. Wow. Just wow. What did you think about the way they closed things off this week with Professor X showing up and Magneto probably killing multiple people? He probably killed a lot of people. Anyone who has a pacemaker, anyone in an airplane, anyone on a bus, anyone in a car. Like, unless you're in a Prius, you're dead. He killed mad people. Like, I don't think anyone realizes how many people Magneto could have killed.
I didn't realize he killed anybody till we were talking about it before we went live today. Yeah, like that's some shit, but at this point, I'm not even going to say I understand or I don't blame them. I'm kind of in the middle because there are innocent individuals that are going to be affected by this that have nothing to do with this situation. But it's the fact that he tried so much for a couple episodes. He tried hard to understand humans and to go about things, doing it Professor X's way. It didn't go that way. He got tired of he just hit a boiling point. He tried to be diplomatic, tried to be an empathetic individual, and not the cruel killer that we know him for. And basically, he's just saying, "This is the thanks I get for trying to understand you humans, be nice to you humans. Now, fuck all that shit's out the way. I don't care if you support us, you don't support us. It's fuck all y'all." And if you're watching this, Magneto, I support you guys. I love you guys. I don't want no problems. So all of us on here,
you don't want no
yeah,
smoke.
we don't want no smoke. All of us at the True Hill Heat team, we support mutants' rights and all that. So when you go on your rampage again, kind of kindly leave us out of it. Thank you very much.
I support this message. Wendy, what did you think about the final sequence with Magneto turning off the electricity, deactivating the Sentinels, and the return of Professor X?
Okay, so that last scene, I'm like, damn. I was just like, wow, like he did all that. It's like, wow. Then when you brought up the whole blackout, I'm like, damn, that was him. God damn. Can he do another blackout so I don't have to go to work?
Oh,
That'd be amazing. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, seriously though, I was just like, holy crap! Like, I was like, damn. I was like, he mad. He real mad. I was so I will say I popped for Spider-Man. When they show Spider-Man, I'm like, oh, they're really gonna do this. I'm like, they really gonna do this crossover. I am so happy, and it looked like the Spider-Man from the animated series.
Yeah,
and
the creator of X-Men '97, Bo Mayo, confirmed that it is the same
the same
Spider-Man
one
from the '94 series.
Yeah, I popped for that because that was literally, I honestly watched that show a lot more than much more than X-Men. I remember growing up, I used to watch a lot. Like I remember watching a lot of Spider-Man. So hopefully they bring that crossover and hopefully it's the same voice actor. If not, hopefully they find somebody that can bring that essence of the original Spider-Man. Thought it was really cool. And then the fact that Xavier finally comes in the last minute, and we did speak about it. We did feel like, he's gonna come at the last minute when everything is happening. I was just like, well, wow, you finally came. Now, I'm excited to see what happens. It was like, wow, I'm excited for the next episode.
Yes. I'm interested on what's next, and we talk about that a lot on what's gonna happen next, because in the comics, Bastion does put basically a sentinel in the mind of Magneto, and that becomes Onslaught. And that's like a whole big drama and a whole big story within itself. So I don't know if that happens this season or one of the other seasons, because Onslaught, I think, is from the brains of Xavier and Magneto that Bastion creates Onslaught. And I don't know if that's gonna happen next, but man, I don't know if Magneto got rid of all the Prime Sentinels. We're gonna see, but I'm very interested on how they conclude this whole Tolerance is Extinction. Because I kind of feel like we have to at least try to bring back Gambit, right?
Yes.
Right? He's the only one we lost now because Magneto's back. We didn't lose Magneto, so we're fine. But I really feel like we're heading towards Rogue facing Prime Sentinel Gambit.
That's going to be an emotional roller coaster.
Absolutely. But yes, I am really looking forward to the next episode as we conclude this season of X-Men '97. any final thoughts from you two as far as where do you think things are going and overall thoughts on this episode? Ness?
I'll say this. I feel like Professor X got there way too fucking fast. I'm not even gonna lie. Watching the episode and then when Wolverine says, "Oh, it's Professor X when you need him," I'm like, dude, weren't you just like fucking hundreds of light years away in a whole other galaxy? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the CR Empire has some pretty nifty technology, but I don't know if they would have got him there that quick. And if they did get him that quick, why couldn't you get him there quicker so he can at least be some assistance at the time where all this crazy shit is going on in the mansion? But that's how movie or television magic works. So I won't deep dive too much into it.
Wendy, overall thoughts and where do you think things are going?
I mean, I say it all. Like, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I can't wait for part 2. I'm excited. Where is this going? Well, I definitely want to see the aftermath of, what happened and the conversations that the X-Men will have with Xavier and, I guess get his explanation as to, what he was doing and, this and that. And, I'm excited. I will say if they do create a Sentinel Gambit and he faces off with Rogue, my bitter self is gonna say, I hope Gambit beat her ass. But
He's a Sentinel. Wendy, come on.
Come on, what are we doing? See, Wendy's a prime Sentinel. We found it out. She admitted it.
Regardless, I'm just kidding. I hope they don't bring him as a Sentinel. I really hope not. But who's to say, like we talked about before, who's to say if Rogue got absorbed the what's his name? Gyrid?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Like, who's to say like she absorbed like that part, and who's to say she might become a Sentinel herself? And we don't know. Like, she could, who knows? Like, she'll be one, like maybe for the final battle and stuff like that. So,
that is true. That is very true. And I'm very interested how everything is going to play out in the end, because it really feels with 2 episodes left. I don't think there's any way this season ends on a good note. I don't see it because with now Magneto setting up this war, I feel like we end season 1 with 2 different parts. Like I think we end season 1 with the X-Men on the run. There's no X-Mansion. They are gonna be basically considered fugitives now. I think that we're gonna get like one group with Professor X, and then we're going to get a couple of the X-Men team that go with Magneto, because Magneto doing this attack is not going to be viewed as Magneto turning off the world's electricity and starting this world. People have to realize it's going to be viewed as the leader of the X-Men turned off the world's electricity and did this to everybody, because they made that whole big deal of Magneto becoming the leader of the X-Men and reforming himself. The trial of Magneto went televised and everything. So for him to do this, and the first thing he does after Genosha is turn off the electricity, this is going to turn out bad on the X-Men. So I think that we end season 1 with the X-Men on the run. I could see, Aurora, Logan, Hank, probably Nightcrawler, Morph going with Professor X, even Jean. I can see Jean going with Professor X, because I really feel Cyclops will go with Magneto, because Cyclops has been leaning more and more on Magneto's side as far as his way of thinking, and that Magneto was right. And I think that we see like Magneto start a new brotherhood with like Cyclops, maybe another one of the X-Men, and then Blob, Toad, the usual suspects in the Brotherhood.
I could definitely see Rogue with them, obviously.
Rogue. Yeah, Rogue's gonna be with them. Yeah.
That's like number 1.
Absolutely.
He has to have some type of, something.
And we got
Where?
Frantic World who says we're going to see heel Cyclops. I mean, I could see that, and I could see that's where they probably do the Cyclops Emma Frost relationship. I could see Emma Frost joining up with Magneto, and then that's how they start the Emma Frost Cyclops. Because we all know Cyclops got a fetish for those telepaths.
Yeah.
He loved getting fucked in the mind. We got Power Driver Finisher who says Cyclops ultimately becomes a villain, as you always wanted, as you always envisioned. Power Driver Finisher. But guys, you guys have been great in the chat. Let us know your MVP, LVP out of 10. What did you give this week's show? And where do you think things are going for X-Men 97? We got Frantic World in the chat who says LVP to Professor X because he showed up late and he was on CP time. Points were made. We also got a Power Driver Finisher who says co-LVP Scott Summers. He just gave him that off GP. Tyrone Kid says MVP Magneto, LVP Cyclops for not being around for Cable. Listen to Kendrick, Scott. Y'all are wrong. Y'all are so wrong. Power Driver Finisher says 9 out of 10. MVP Nightcrawler, LVP Sunspot's mom. All right. But for us, let's put our thumbs in the middle for season 1, episode 8. Tolerance is Extinction, part 1 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from all of us. 2 thumbs up from all of us out of 10. What did you give this week's show, Wendy?
I give it a 9. No, I'm lying. I give it a 10.
Wow. Full
I give it a 10
out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yes, I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed it. I think for me, it's like it's more of a visual thing for me. Like I really love how they did the action scenes. Everything was so epic. They finally put Wolverine in the forefront. Like they gave him something, and him and Nightcrawler worked so well. Like in the action scenes, I really enjoyed it. 10 out of 10 for me.
Frantic World goes 9.5 out of 10. Ness.
I'm gonna go 9.5 too. I was gonna go the full 10, but because Professor X wants to show up on CP time, that took the little bit of the full. I was gonna go to full Monty. I give him a 9.5, but like outside of that, and then that's just a small nitpick as well. I have really nothing bad to say about this episode. I was here for the emotion. I was here for the action, the plot. Everything's starting to we're really starting to get to the climax of this season, and it's been great. The whole ride's been great. Every episode's been great. Everything's been so good up until this point, and now it's just like they're pushing the envelope even more to make it even better for the last episode. We got 2 more episodes to go. But they're going to be eventful, and I'm here for it. So 9.5.
I gotta agree with Ness. I'm gonna go 9.5 out of 10. A near perfect score. I think that Remember It is still the best episode and a 10 out of 10, but this is very close for second best. So I go 9.5 out of 10 just with the action, all the teasing with Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, new characters getting their moment like Wolverine and Nightcrawler. Really enjoyed this one. So 9.5 out of 10 for me. MVP for the episode, I am going to give it to Nightcrawler. No, I'm going to give it to my new favorite tag team, Nightcrawler and Wolverine. That whole sequence, man, I enjoyed the hell out of that. Ness, MVP.
Co MVPs, Nightcrawler and Wolverine for sure. For sure. I almost gave it to Magneto. But then you reminded me that he killed innocent people too, so I couldn't do it. out of good nature, I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, Magneto was right, but he also killed people. So, right. Wendy, who's your MVP?
I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. Like co-MVP, Nightcrawler and Wolverine. Like I gotta give it to them.
LVP for this episode, I'm gonna give it to Sunspot's racist ass mom.
I think that's going to be well. That's right. That's where I'm definitely going for that. She's just oh man, I can't stand her ass.
Wendy.
LV, there's a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Sunspot's mom. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to her. Horrible. Like she's trying to be part of the Scott Summers, bad parent group. So
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think Magneto can win MVP. He literally gave Bastion what he wanted. He literally sped up the process. Because like we don't know what Bastion was planning with him. Maybe he eventually would have let him go, knowing that he was gonna, have a reaction and react in a big way like he did. But he sped up the process, definitely. So he's not. I don't think that he accomplished what he thinks he accomplished. All he did was speed up the process for a 300-year evolutionary war. So I don't know how anybody can give him MVP. We got Private Driver Finisher. He says Nightwolf stole the show. And we also got him saying, literally gonna have to rewatch this episode just because it was fun chatting about it. Thanks for coming, Private Driver Finisher. You're always great in the live chat. A lot of you guys have been with us since we started reviewing the show, and we appreciate y'all coming every week, even asking us over on the wrestling channel if we're doing it. We appreciate y'all supporting us talking about X-Men 97 and joining the conversation as well. But we got Tolerance is Extinction Part 2 next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get the return of Storm, because we got her hearing Professor X. We need Storm in action. We need the forecast for these fucking Prime Sentinels. We need the fucking forecast next week. But Wendy, until then, let everybody know where they can follow you and when they'll see you again.
Okay, so you guys can follow me on Instagram at evelise21. Definitely will be here for next week's episode. Sorry you guys didn't get a real grant from me today because she's sleeping. So, that's a good thing. Let her sleep. Keep sleeping, Rogue. But yeah, you guys can catch me there next week. I'm excited for next week's episode. I can't wait to see Storm. I want to see the aftermath. Can't wait to see the aftermath of what just happened. And let's see if they do something. Like, I mean, I just can't wait. And I do want to say, like, that whole scene with Magneto and nothing but a Speedo, it's probably for those girls that it was probably eye candy for females that love Magneto. Like,
hey, I've been seeing on social media a lot of females been enjoying the nipples, the Magneto nipples,
yeah,
the magnetic nipples.
Yeah, so like, that was for y'all ladies. Like, that was for the ladies. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for next week. I can't wait. That's the first thing I'm gonna watch the moment I wake up. So
yes,
I'm excited.
That's my Wednesday routine now. Ness, let everybody know where they can follow you when they'll see you again.
You guys can follow me on X, Instagram, and Facebook at Skinny Kravitz. Facebook just Skinny Kravitz. X and IG Skinny _ Kravitz. I'm definitely returning next week. I feel like every Wednesday I gotta block everybody out from the group chat to another group chat.
We can't talk about it in the group chat because we got a Prime Sentinel. We got a Prime Sentinel in our group chat.
We can't say anything about it because he'll just. It's like, I don't know if he has his notifications on or not, but as soon as there's a conversation about X-Men, he comes, oh, can you guys go somewhere else? Can you just stop having this conversation right now? What the hell? Oh, don't spoil it. It never fails. It's like clockwork every week. So, and I try to avoid, even though some things I can have knowledge of or quote unquote get it spoiled. This is one of the shows that I'm just like, no, I don't. I can't see anybody's opinion, anything anybody has to say about it. I have to watch it and then see what's going on. So I can't wait for this Wednesday. I'm hoping that this will be more so of maybe a redemption for Rogue for not being in this episode, and definitely more so focused on Storm and her journey to get back to the X-Men and the X-Mansion, dealing with the aftermath. And even maybe Forge could come around and show what he's worth, because the last couple episodes that he's been in, he ain't been shit. So now it's time for him to come back and did. Yeah.
Forge is going to be very important because we saw the picture of Bastion with Forge, and all these weapons was made by Bastion. Forge designed them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I want to see where, we're definitely going to get some shit next week. I don't know if it's going to be as good as this episode was, but it's definitely going to be something.
Yes. And we got Mystics of Commentage mentioned in this episode, and we saw Forge. He was basically doing the Doctor Strange magic. So if there is anything that we need to kind of learn about absolute points, maybe Forge can help us out with that. And to answer Frantic World, no, he does not. That's what makes me believe he's a Prime Sentinel, because he gets annoyed at us talking about a show he has no intention of watching anytime soon.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's waiting for the whole thing to drop or not. I don't know, because
I literally just asked Josh. I said, "Are you a Prime Sentinel?" He said, "The fuck." That's what he just said. He said, "The fuck."
Are you a Prime Sentinel? Ask Josh if he thinks Romeo is a Prime Sentinel.
Oh, okay. Let me ask him. I will say though. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, like, I was also thinking, like, when they showed Spider-Man, like, would this be like the fact that they showed Spider-Man and the fact that the creator, the person, he did say that was the 94 animated Spider-Man. I wonder, is that gonna open the gate to I guess reviving Spider-Man the animated series? Like, I'm gonna bring that question to you guys.
I think so. Yeah, I hope so, and I think so. I think with the success of X-Men 97, they are probably going to be more willing to do that and revive that show. And I think that the X-Men 97, I think it's going to change. It's going to change Marvel after this, because I don't think they expected it to be this big of a success.
Nah, and it's great because so far as superhero animation, it's been DC. Like, their live action movies aren't like that good, but their bread and butter has been their animation. And I feel like if Marvel can continue this with X-Men, whatever other shows, they can contend with DC in the animation, like live action for Marvel, animation for DC. And I feel like, if they can continue with this, Marvel can, have a lock on both live action and animation.
Because the animation has always been good. Like, I like the animation on the What If series, but like, What If did not have this level of writing to it. No. So this is like next level, and I think it is going to really kind of change Marvel completely moving forward. And I agree with Frantic World. Bring back Bo DeMeo. I don't care what he did to get himself fired. I don't care anymore. This man has created one of the greatest things Marvel has ever kind of put out there. This is up there. 8 episodes in, 2 episodes left. This is one of the greatest things that Marvel and the MCU have come out with. We got Power Driver Finisher. He says, I thought it has to do something with the Registration Act thing for mutants. Possibly. I could see something like that. But yeah, I think that we get the Spider-Man series, and I think we get an X-Men Avenger storyline in season 2.
Okay.
I think that's what we're setting up.
So Josh responded to my question, and he said, no, he's just a dumbass.
That's best place to end the show there. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Go over to the True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. Watch the flagship podcast from earlier today with True Jaw Josh, Miss Chrissy Love, talk about This Week in Wrestling. But yeah, dumbass, not a Prime Sentinel. Got it. For Nest, for Wendy, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. Magneto was right. And this has been our X-Men 97 Episode 8 review. We are signing off until next time.